Well, you're stuck. You don't have a choice in there.
All right, everybody, it's 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have any new people attending Racing for Recovery for the first time tonight? Well, we are glad that you decided to join us. We schedule or have any questions we can answer after the meeting.
Support group meeting guidelines. Thank you for attending the Racing for Recovery support group meeting. We are focused on maintaining a drug-free and healthy lifestyle. Since 2001, our open forum meetings welcome parents, adolescents, recovering individuals, and anyone who supports our mission. Your suggestions, comments, or ideas are welcome to make our meeting the best they can be. The Racing for Recovery support group meeting is a cutting-edge alternative to what is currently offered. By combining substance abusers, families, friends, and the public at large, we have created an environment that is beneficial to everyone who has been affected by alcohol or drug addiction. 1, meeting start time is 7 o'clock. Please be on time. 2, please turn cell phones to ringer or vibrate. Please refrain from posting on social media during the meeting to show respect and courtesy to yourself or others. 3, please only one person speak at a time. Please speak loudly so that everyone can hear. 4, proof of attendance is gladly provided. Please turn in your paperwork for the meeting at the end of the time is required. 6, feel free to openly share your comments and points of view on how alcohol or drug addiction has impacted your life. 7, this meeting is open to people of all ages and welcomes diversity, so please refrain from using excessive foul language or language that discriminates against any race, gender, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or disability to maintain an atmosphere of respect or dignity for all those who are present. 8, if you see a visitor, a new member, or a returning member that you haven't seen in a while, please warmly welcome them to our program. 9, your confidentiality is important to us. What you say here will not be discussed outside of the meeting. 10, please refrain from leaving the meeting while it is in progress. It is disruptive to others. 11, smoking or vaping should be done away from all entrances and not on the premises. 12, please dispense of all trash in a garbage can and do not litter.
Thank you, Randall. Who has the guidelines for living a lifestyle of recovery?
Hi, my name is Selena. Guidelines for living a lifestyle of recovery. The lifestyle of recovery guidelines are intended to be utilized by recovering individuals, their families, and anyone else who is striving to avoid substance abuse and achieve sobriety. Guidelines. 1, recognizing that substance abuse ruins lives. 2, wanting to pursue positive alternatives to substance abuse, such as our education, employment, quality relationships, and health and fitness. 3, using resources such as friends, family, teachers, and peers as a way to achieve and remain sober. Adding sports, art, or music to these resources will help us stay focused and motivated. 4, defining balance and working toward making it a part of everyday life. 5, building self-esteem and confidence through sobriety to combat negative feelings regarding oneself. 6, understanding that negative behaviors of isolation and self-pity lead to self-destruction. 7, lifting a person up is different than allowing them to continue their destructive lifestyles. Be there for yourself and be patient with your friends and family. 8, learning how to help without supporting the addict's behavior. Providing assistance to the recovering individual that will improve their lives, not further their usage. 9, recognizing personal challenges and integrating them into our lifestyle as challenges to triumph over. 10, caring for our personal, emotional, physical, and spiritual individuality is the source we use for our sense of worth. each person is truly magnificent. Our mission at Racing for Recovery is to prevent all forms of substance abuse by promoting a lifestyle of fitness and health for all those
Thank you. Who has what Racing for Recovery means to me?
What Racing for Recovery means to me: respect yourself enough to quit using. Accept the challenges that lie ahead. Commit to your recovery. Include friends and family on your journey. Never doubt your will to succeed. Give yourself credit for your accomplishments. Focus on positive things you want in life. Overcome your fears and keep moving forward. Remember the reasons you are seeking sobriety. Reach out to others to give and receive support. Expect holes in the road. Choose another road. Care for your body. We only get one in this lifetime. Open your heart, mind, emotions, and spirit. Victory comes from a balanced lifestyle. Educate yourself on all aspects of recovery. Racing for Recovery saves lives. You will learn that with sobriety, anything is possible.
Thank you. Now we're going to go around the room. We'd like to know who you are and why you decided to join us. You do not have to identify as an alcoholic and addict, but if it helps you in your own recovery, please feel free to do so. We're going to go with Joe. I know, but
Okay,
Steven's not here.
Fair enough. My name is Joe. I come here for a lot of reasons. Mostly I come here because it's part of my routine, and these meetings remind me to be teachable and humble.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Charmy, and I'm here only because of God's grace and mercy.
continue the healing from the traumas.
I'm Kurt, I'm here for the positive support.
So, let me just start over.
I'm Ashley, and this meeting helps me restart at any point in the day.
My name's Faye, and I'm here to give and get support.
My name's Mike. I come here to continue living a sobriety lifestyle, and the meetings help me when I'm trying to figure out everything that's chaotic in my life at times.
I'm Tim. Every time I walk in these doors, it's extremely uplifting.
I'm Michael. I'm here to be sober.
I'm on here to stay balanced.
My name is Brian. I'm here to start my life over.
My name is Nick, and I am here for the movement.
I'm Josh, I'm here to keep moving forward.
Russ, I'm here to stay positive, stay sober.
I'm Scott, here to be a better father and husband.
I'm Phil. I'm here to stay sober.
My name is Josh, I'm here to stay focused.
I'm Kelsey, and I'm here to try a different type of living.
I'm Kyle, I'm here for the support and to learn.
My name is Bob, I'm here to learn.
Christy, and I'm here to continue to heal.
I'm Amy, I'm here to be my most authentic self. I'm Jim, and I'm here to sustain my sobriety and for the support.
I'm Brandon, I'm here for the energy.
I'm Gina, I'm here to start living.
I'm Taylor, I'm here to stay on the right path.
I'm Justin, I'm here for the support.
Craig, I'm here for motivation.
I'm Pat, I'm here for positivity and to give and get support.
I'm Eugene, I'm here to stay sober.
I'm Tyler, I'm here to keep working on stuff and trying to make every day of sobriety better than the last drop of the night.
I'm Steve, I'm here to stay sober.
I'm Mike, I'm here for guidance.
Chris, I'm here to learn a better way to live.
John, here to see what y'all about.
Jake, I'm here to stay on the right track.
John, here to stay sober.
Shelby, I'm here to stay consistent and for positivity.
I'm Daz, I'm here for growth.
Dustin, I'm here to support down.
That's Sean.
Lee. I'm Sean. I'm here. It's Monday night. See all your lovely faces.
I'm Candy, I'm here to fill up my cup.
I'm Allie, and I'm here to support you.
I'm Steve,
Chuck. I'm here to continue to improve.
I'm Mike. I just come here to stay plugged in.
I'm Emma. I'm here because I like who I am when I'm here.
I'm Molly, I'm here for positivity.
I'm Matt. I'm here for positivity and stay sober.
I'm Adam. I'm here to keep moving forward for recovery.
I'm Kevin. I'm here to continue changing my life.
And I'm Randall. Just come to these meetings to learn from the book and live my best life. So.
My name is Dustin, and my life has gotten consistently better since I made the choice to be sober, and these meetings have been a huge part of it. This Monday meeting is part of my routine. It's something, I say it every week, but it's the truth, man. It's my favorite way to start off the week. Who's got the answer?
The answer by Donald D. Carr. Running from the misery, trying to escape the pain, as I approach the light of hope that lies before me. Each step overwhelms me, every breath sears my throat. I ache, my body rebels against me, my memories torment me. Agony has become my closest companion. My demons mock me as I dangle helplessly above the abyss of alcohol and drug abuse. The voices all sound the same, criticizing, accusing, blaming me for what has happened. They don't understand, they don't care who I am. I'm a human being full of thoughts and feelings. I'm worth saving, just show me the way. At last, I reach the light of promise. There stands the answer. Open arms, understanding smiles, looks of trust. And so it begins, racing for recovery.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Do you have any announcements? No announcements? We got a race coming up pretty soon. We'll be here in about 11 months or so. 10 months. As you can see from the introductions, our meetings are for everyone who's been affected by self-destructive behavior. No topic is off limits. If you have a question or like to bring something up, we encourage you. I was going to dive right into the book. All right, well, we are on page 79 in the thin one and 165 in the thick daddy there. Who wants to read? We are at James King. We're going to read.
I'm sorry.
70, which book do you have?
I'm in the big one.
165. James King.
Supposed to pass around.
Oh, is it 166? Yeah.
Oh, okay. James King. My addiction was to Oxycontin. My addiction began early in high school when I was only 13, back in 1999. During this time, drinking and drug use were something my friends and I did together daily. This continued for years, and a number of drugs came and went. But marijuana, alcohol, and barbiturates were the mainstays. I went through a number of girlfriends and jobs, and I never really found a passion in life or a direction. I became known as someone parents did not want their children around, and I embraced the title. When high school ended, I chose the most fun university I could find. I attended Ohio University for a little less than a year. I did fine in classes as I had in high school, but my focus was finding the best pot I could and smoking it, along with getting drunk, chasing girls, and playing World of Warcraft. I even pledged a fraternity, but one of the members of my pledge class died of an overdose of Oxycontin and cocaine. It hit me pretty hard. I had told myself that Oxy was something that I would have to stay away from. I ended up dropping out of school and moving back home, where I reconnected with my old group of friends and picked up where I had left off. I can still remember sitting in my friend's Jeep. He pulled out an Oxy pill and a piece of pipe fitting. This was a drug I hadn't experienced, and I wanted to know what the buzz was about. So I bought a couple of pills from him and had him show me how to process them. First, you put the pill in your mouth to suck the time-release coating off. Then you take a pill shaver and grind the pill into a fine powder. He had a straw and an extra shaver for me. I still remember the first line I snorted. 30 minutes later, I felt like I was being hugged by a supermodel on the inside. I already had a group of friends to do the drug with as well. We would come up with some cash, go get the drugs, and do them together, then hang out and enjoy the buzz. It made me feel almost totally without consequence or regret. But as my tolerance developed, I had to buy more and more drugs to feel high, which meant spending more money. When there was no way to get enough pills to get high, someone suggested heroin. I ended up smoking heroin and Oxycontin regularly. I have been extremely lucky in regards to my physical health. As far as my mental health goes, it's difficult to say. Growing up, I was always an honor student and I always did well in school. I suffer from insomnia and I still struggle with anxiety and empathy, and I have yet to truly challenge myself. I've had many fighting episodes, but one involving the police stands out. I have picked up three acquaintances from Toledo who were known for being rough characters. We planned to smoke pot in my car. We were doing shotguns. You put the blunt backwards in your mouth and blow smoke out of it to other people. When a car behind me noticed we were doing this, he began following me closely and honking. I let him pass me and started doing the same thing to him. He stopped and got out of his car. One of the people in my car got out and pointed a BB gun in his face and then hit him with it. I was screaming at him to get back in my car, and I drove off and took them all home. When I arrived home, the police were waiting for me. Does anybody else want to read? Okay. I decided I needed help when I started to lose control of my addiction and my life in general. At first, I was able to juggle work, friends, family, and drugs. When I started to spend more money than I had, I confessed everything to my mother, and it turned out she had no idea. She interviewed Todd, and she decided that he was the best option for me to get things right. My recovery program is a mix of Racing for Recovery meetings. I have attended 77 Thursdays in a row in the Suboxone program at Arrowhead Behavioral Health, a private psychiatric hospital. My family is also very involved in my recovery. I also use Todd as I have found my new direction. I had a lot of information already from 2 failed attempts at treatment, and Todd analyzed what I had and added what I was missing. Now he works with me weekly to apply it to my life. I attend Racing for Recovery meetings every week, and I try to share my story every time it can be useful to someone else. I have found my passion in life, helping people with their addiction. I plan to attend school in order to get my bachelor's in social work, and then become a counselor myself someday. I would love to be able to work with Racing for Recovery someday.
Thank you. Seeing that this is the program of honesty, this is the first time I read these. The first time I read the book, I skipped over all the, testimonies or whatever you want to call them. So without going into any war stories or anything like that, can anybody can relate to James here and what he's got going on?
Started sucking off the code, bowing him down. I remember all that. That was 14 years ago. 15. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a war story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the part where he decided to leave school and move back home and thinking that would kind of resolve things and kind of stop his usage. I did the same thing. I went back home and I thought that would fix it, and I just reconnected with everybody back in my hometown, and I did the same thing all over again, like that traumatic event never happened. So I relate to that.
Well, I know from experience that changing locations without changing your choices in life has never worked out for me. I've tried moving away from my problems, and they seem to follow me no matter where I went. Out of state, in state, across the country. Right, Sean? Sean can relate to that. He talks about it in here. Anybody else?
I kind of like the part where it was like talking about how he was like known as like a kid that parents really didn't want their kids around. Me and I'll take responsibility for myself. I was not one of the people. I mean, like I kind of growing up was like a follower. I had a best friend that like we co-signed each other's bullshit a lot, and so like the crowd that I involved myself in was a crowd that was notorious for being the partiers and like that didn't really care about school too much. And so like I think there became a point where I just kind of embraced like that's who I was going to be for the rest of my life. And so, looking back, it's like I don't, you know, we kind of always talk about like what we would change if we were to go back. And I think I wouldn't, I had addict behaviors before I even picked up a drug. You know, I was doing things, manipulating people and doing, stealing, doing a lot of illegal stuff before drugs even came into play. So I kind of like set the road for myself as far as like making it okay for me to open doors that I didn't necessarily know what was the consequences behind it, you know?
Right.
And although I'm extremely grateful because I'm here, I think if I would have learned how to be my own leader and not follow, you know, we kind of talk about peer pressure and stuff like that. That stuff is real because being accepted, you know, with like being awkward or whatever, like you want to fit in, so you want to do what everyone else is doing, you know. And so, if I was to go back, it would to be how to learn how to stand up for myself and be my own person, and know that like uniqueness is like our assets ultimately, you know.
Mm-hmm. Those are changes you can still make today. You know,
Right.
I used to get wrapped up in that too, where well, what if and what if? You know, I thought about it for a long time, but you know, even through all the consequences that I faced, I wouldn't have went back to change it. Now I can say that. Now I wouldn't go back and change it because it would have threw my life right now. I'm here with all these great people. I might not have my son, so I try not to like dwell into like, oh, you know, what if? And yeah, I think for me personally, my opinion with peer pressure, like for me, when I was younger, I guess that's what I could say some of the times. But as I got older, you know, like that shit doesn't fly with me now. I'm 31 years old. If I feel like somebody's trying to pressure me to do something I don't want to do, I can get up and walk out the door. You know, that's a choice that I would make now. But who we got, Joe?
Yeah. As it relates to this, to James's story, his first two paragraphs, he basically talks about, you know, how he got started. But the one that really stands out to me is when he talks about going through a number of girlfriends and jobs and never really having a passion in life or direction. That piece alone, to me, you know, you can exchange the rest of the other stuff with all the crap that I did, and that's basically my story. I mean, it's not that I grew up in a bad home or had a bad family or anything like that. I mean, I had a great family, had a great home life. I just never had a direction in life, you know. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but everyone was always telling me, you know, graduate high school, go to college, get a good job, white picket fence, 1.5 kids, dog, all that stuff. And so I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll just do that. And I just always remember feeling lost all through high school, all through college, and I didn't know what to do with my life. So when it came time for like the weekends, or kind of like what Ashley said, when people would be like, hey, do you want to, you know, do X or Y or whatever it was, I was like, sure. I mean, I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe if I get high and drunk, maybe that'll work, you know. So obviously, you know, results didn't pan out in a good way, but I think that I know when that question was asked on Thursday night, would you change anything? You know, knowing what you know now, would you go back and change anything? And I wouldn't, you know. I know I caused a lot of pain and a lot of misery to people, and I know that I made a lot of poor choices that made a lot of things difficult, but kind of like what you said, you know, I wouldn't have the things I have today, the confidence to say no when dumb shit comes up, the ability to identify when it's a poor choice and a good choice, and the self-confidence to deal with the consequences of that choice if it happens to be a bad one. I wouldn't have any of that if I didn't have to go through all that stuff to get to this point. So reading that guy's story, that first piece, I always remember that because it stands out, you know, not having that direction. And I still can't tell you now that I know the direction my life's going to go, or that because I'm sober, because I come here, I suddenly know how to have a perfect, beautiful life. I don't know that. I'm still figuring all that stuff out, but I have the tools now to make better choices and to have the self-confidence to make choices for myself and the people that I love in my life, rather than just making a selfish choice or a dumb one, or making a choice that's going to end up negatively affecting me and the ones around me. So I guess I can kind of empathize with that first little piece that he said there.
I can definitely. Wow. That's exactly how I felt looking back on it. The number of jobs and the number of things that I did because somebody else was saying this is what you should do. I don't know. I guess the only thing I would change is the hurt that I caused some of my family. You know, like my mom especially. Like I'm probably responsible for all her gray hair right now, and even Jennifer. You know, they got put through some shit that I wouldn't change the outcome or the consequences for me, but if I go back and take some of the pain away that I caused for other people, you know, it's easy for me to take on some of that because. But when it starts affecting people around me, is like that's the stuff that still bothers me today, even right now. And it's been some time that I have in between hurting people, but like that's the one thing that probably bothers me the most. Tim.
Yeah, I really can't relate to this gentleman, but like what Joe was saying, I can relate to what you were saying, where you know you going through everything made you the person that you are today. And, you know, I've said this a number of times, you know, I see people that, you know, thankful for them that they never had to go through this stuff, but they don't live life. And going through all the stuff that I went through, and then coming out on this end of it, you appreciate life so much more. I didn't appreciate life before I, you know, if you want to call it, became an alcoholic or destructive drinking or whatever. You know, I just kind of, you know, life was there and just didn't appreciate it. And everything seems to taste better, smell better, look better. And even though, you know, other people had to go through, you know, their collateral damage, you know, and I feel bad about that, but I wouldn't change it. I'm glad I went through what I went through because it's I get to enjoy these next, you know, well, the way I feel anymore with all these surgeries, I don't know if I want to live till 100, but, you know, I get to really enjoy, you know, my life in a different way that I don't think I would have been able to enjoy before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with you on that. Especially, like, my lows make me appreciate what I have today that much more. Like, even when you know, like a bad day today is better than any day waking up in jail or, you know, I don't know, waking up hungover. Like, I look back on that shit, and like you said, man, I wasn't living. Like, it was like, for me, it was like, they talk about it in the book, I'm sure we've talked about it in the meetings, it's that Groundhog Day shit. You know, that's what my life was for a long time. It was just the same thing over and over. I was chasing the same shit over and over, and expecting the same result, but the only thing that I got was worse consequences as time went on. The consequences kept getting worse and worse and worse. And today I definitely appreciate, I mean, it's easy to think for me, like, it's easy to like not be appreciative for things that we have sometimes, right? Like, you know, sometimes I get mad or, you know, be upset about the job that I'm working currently or the beat up car that I had to drive for a while, but it's like, you know, sometimes there's people with no cars, with no jobs, with no houses, so it's like, sometimes you just stop and kind of look at the things that we do have and realize how grateful we really should be for the things that we have today. We're all alive, sober, here. I mean, everybody's got a cell phone, right? I don't think anybody here doesn't have a phone. We got a bed to sleep in. Nobody's starving. Like, little things like that. When I'm having a bad day, I'm like, okay, well, you know, yeah, my boss is an asshole sometimes or whatever, but like, I'm not going to go smoke crack about it, and I'm going to go home and go to sleep and not wake up in jail. Like, those are things that are 100% certain for me anymore. And yeah. So you got nobody?
I got nobody.
Okay, perfect. Save me.
Hardly. I love this topic. because we're all like going through it right now at our different paces and whatever. But what it reminds me of is my life has changed so much in 120 days, like, whoa, like a different life completely. And that took a lot of hard work on my part. And I'm proud of myself for that. It was scary as shit. It's still scary as shit every day. I cry every single day, and I get pissed, really pissed every single day, and I'm all right with it. That's probably what I'm most proud of. I'm fucking all right with it. I will feel shit organically, period. That's it. I no longer fight it. And it has made a humongous difference in my ability to stay sober. I'm still processing all the stuff every single day. It's like, I'm thankful I wake up, period, and that I wake up and I get to do this chaos and craziness again. And maybe today I'll do something slightly different, it'll be better, and then I'll implement that tool, and then it'll get better again, at a little tiny bit, one little inch at a time, and in 120 days, I'm a different person. I'm excited about who that person might be in a year. But a specific thing came to mind when we started talking about that, and that is, I used to be what I considered the suburban mom. Lived in a nice house in Pennsylvania. It was always clean, decorated perfectly. It's like Pier 1 threw up in it. It was like opening catalog. Because for everyone else, it was cute, whatever. I hated that house. I sold it. I put it on the market 30 days after I started living here. Because that was never my home. I tried to kill myself twice in that house, once fast and once slow. I never slept another night in that house once I checked into Racing for Recovery. I'd rather sleep on the sidewalk out front than ever go through the door. I moved quickly, I got the job done, and I got the F out. I have since moved to a much tinier, old-ass house that is a mess, and I love it because it overlooks nature. When I wake up to that mess, I'm happy. I meditate in a room every morning that stares at water, nature, and wildlife. And the house is like super old. And the old Candy never would have found that acceptable. But that gal is gone. So, and the only reason why I'm able to do that today is because of this place. As difficult as it's been for me to even stay here, whether it be by my own accord or someone else's, I need to be here because it has changed my life for the better. I don't think that's a war story. That's happening right now. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's definitely not a war story.
We got plenty of those. But
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
So, when you're reading that, I can't really relate to a lot of that stuff because that wasn't my drug of choice. Plus, that had been too much fucking work for me to get high. So I'd have just grabbed a bottle. But I can relate to some of the things that was in it as far as the traveling and running and women and all that other stuff. But so I don't know, I think for me, and I know I've shared this before, but looking back at my time using, drinking, and whatever damage that I did, so my wife says something to me Saturday, at our Christmas party at Yark Saturday. She says, "Boy, you are a socially awkward asshole."
No.
Not yet. So, and I said, "Well, would you rather me have been a socially fucktard like I was when I was drinking? Because I'm not that guy, So, so things have got a little better in that way, I guess. But looking back at a lot of that stuff, I think that was for me, I was trying to, I was selfish. If I look back at everything, I was selfish. ego-driven. You know, you could sit there like, you know, and I shared that about my great-grandmother. She used to tell me all the time, boy, you're absolutely ignorant. You're ignorant. And that's, she goes, that don't mean you're stupid. You know, ignorant just means you're ignoring. There's 5 letters in there, ignore. So you're ignoring what I'm telling you to do and making a choice to do the opposite. Doesn't mean you're stupid. You could be stupid, but we'll find out later. And that's how she shared that to me, right? So if you look at the word ignorance in Google it is lack of wisdom, knowledge. That means I'm ignoring. I'm ignoring to listen, so I have no wisdom or knowledge. And then if I don't ignore it, then I'm probably stupid, you know, if you look at it, you know, because I don't want to pay attention. You know, I want to do it my way. It's going to just be my way. So, you know, looking back at stuff like that, you know, I can relate to that now because now I'm listening to people where I didn't do that before. Everything that's, since I've been sober now, /year, everything that has came into my life, I have not put a hand in that. None of it. Absolutely none of it. Car, house, everything. My son comes and sees me Saturday, says, Dad, are you happy? I said, I'm happy because I'm not in control of nothing. I'm not putting my hand in nothing. I'm absolutely happy. Happy with my home, happy with my life, everything. Do I want more? No. No, because I'm content today. You know, I'm sober. Bottom line, okay? When I start trying to reach higher goals, saying I want this and this and this, and what I have right now is not good enough, that's probably a good chance I'm going to fuck it up. Guaranteed, because my track record shows that. So when I stay out of the way and I start taking suggestions from people and trying to live, see, and that's the hardest part about sobriety is it sucks. They always say there's a solution. The solution sucks. It really does suck. You know, this year's been a hard year. But so I'm not doing the same shit I was doing. So, but I got out of the way. You know, I tried to find a relationship with God where I'm blessed to be sober because of the grace of God. Do I use the tools with Racing for Recovery and things like that? Absolutely, you know. But I also know that I can easily take that away. All I got to do is bring myself back into it, get selfish again, start not caring about other people's feelings and shit like that, you know. I can be an awkward asshole, you know what I mean? It's, you know, but I'm not offended, I'm not hurting nobody, you know, I'm just being myself. And, you know, so, but at the same time, I'm growing into something I don't know. So even sitting at a year, I could sit there and say, well, man, I'm figuring me out. I know what I want today. I know all this shit. That's bullshit in my eyes. I don't know who the hell I am right now. And it's uncomfortable as shit to be sober and going through this process, but it's supposed to be, because that's how I grow. If it's comfortable, that's scary, you know? It is for me. So I've got to stay uncomfortable. I've got to, you know, look at, you know, I've got to look out for other people, you know, like, for example, you know, not care about so much about myself, but care more about my wife, care more about my kid, look out for them, be responsible. When I say I'm going to do something, do it, you know. Those are things that take time to do, but... all right. But, yeah, you know, I don't know, I think I just sharing, but, you know, I ran from everything. You know, every time I ran, it was fear. It was fear all the time. If I don't face my fears, you know, there's a good chance I could pick up drinking again, using again, doing all that stuff, because I'm not facing them head on. So, yeah, it's a lot of that. I can relate to a lot of that stuff.
There was a quote I meant to look up last time, man, but it has to do with being uncomfortable and that it creates growth, right? Challenges, being challenged, or something. Challenges create growth. I agree with like 95% of everything you said there. For me, it's a little bit different. I like I like putting goals out in front of me, and not that I'm not happy with my life right now. This is probably the best that I've ever been in the 31 years that I've been alive. You know, maybe when I was a kid I was probably cool sometimes, but you know, like 12 on, I was a wreck until I was 29 years old. I'm content with my life today. Like I am happy. I'm definitely happy, but I keep goals out in front of me to keep me moving forward. I'm always striving for something better, not because I'm not happy with what I have now, but for me personally, it kind of helps me keep moving forward. It keeps me from not looking back in that rear view mirror. You guys heard the analogy with the windshield and the rear view mirror. Everybody kind of knows that. The way my brain works is just I get kind of hyper focused on things sometimes, and so I just want to. It helps me in my own recovery to have something out in front of me. You know, there's like an ultimate goal that I kind of keep probably 10 years away or more. You know what I mean? But then there's things like in this next year, 2020, that I want to get accomplished. There's things that I got to get accomplished by the end of December. I got to move out of my apartment. That's a little goal I have now. You know, like there's this shit that I keep in front of me that keeps me from looking behind. You know, there's some 90% of the shit behind me I don't even want to look at anymore. You know, it's not who I am. That's not who I am anymore. It's who I was. But yeah, I agree with like everything you said basically. Who we got? Randall.
I don't know. When we read James's story in this book, I was just thinking about how I can, like, what I get out of that. And for me, it was what they always say, like people, places, and things. That's a prime example of that. And I relate it to myself because I had to change, like, everything. Change everything. And places around, especially the place where I used to like isolate and feel sorry for myself. The place in my head where I constantly go to overthink stuff, you know. I know we always say that a lot. And just create a new self, a new person that I could be proud of. And I don't know. And like people as well. People was a huge thing in coming into this. All my friends I grew up with, especially in like high school, they all started using drugs with me. So I thought, oh, I can be sober and still be with them. And I soon started to like realize that it wasn't the case. And I had to realize that if I wanted the best life, I cannot surround myself with negative people. And I cannot surround myself with people that don't have the same goals as me. I just can't. And that took a while to realize that, but you know, I just think everything gets so much better when you start realizing that you're worth it. You deserve you deserve to have the best life you can. And things, it was for me like people, places, and things. The things part is like the healthy aspect and change the way I'm thinking and you know what I'm consuming, what I'm eating. If I'm not eating garbage, I'm not feeling like garbage. I don't know. When I started looking at all that and I started realizing all these negative things that were in my life, there soon was nothing negative. Everything was just good. Everything, my life is better. And as long as I constantly do that every day and stay away from beating myself up over stupid things that shouldn't even bother me, because I slowly started to realize, and I've been doing this lately, and like been working on this, and it's, why am I letting things bother me? Like, why? What's the point? Like, nothing, when you don't have things bother you, life is so much more easier. It really is. I usually get bothered by money, especially Christmas time's coming around. I get bothered by money, or I used to get bothered by how people reacted. And it's like, I can't control any of that. I can't. The money thing I can't control, but
Can't control what things cost.
yeah, I can't control what things cost. I can't. So I don't know. That's the one thing I've really been like trying to work on, especially like being a kind of customer service-ish stuff. And it's like, I can't control how someone reacts to what I have to say.
Right.
And life is so much better that way. It really is. And I don't know. That's all I got. So.
I meet with a group of guys like once a month from my church, right? We got together the other day, and we kind of go around. He's asking me what was going on with my life, and he's like, "Man, what's going on? Like, anything wrong?" And I started thinking, I was like, he said, "You got any problems or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, all my problems are third world problems, right? Like the problems we have here are really, are really not that bad. Like some bills and, you know what I mean? Like things could be way worse. Like, so I started thinking about it the other day. I'm like, well, like Randall said, I try not to let that shit bother me so much because, like, if I didn't have any bills, and the only last time I had no bills, I was in jail. So, like, bills are not that big a deal anymore, Like, there's shit, I just try to, like Randall was saying, I try to make it not a big deal anymore because I used to get all stressed out about shit before it even happened, man. Theoretical shit, hypothetical situations, I'd be running through my head. In that spot in your head that Randall was talking about, I used to go in there and I'd make up problems in my head and get worried about them before they even happened. It's definitely a lot easier for me just to stay mindful and present and try not to dig too far in that deep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't really relate at least to the type of drug, but I could relate to getting with the friends. I can remember in my younger days being like 14, 15, me and some of my girlfriends would be behind the garage, First we start out with the cigarettes and get a little buzz from the cigarettes. And then somehow we come across a joint. And, I know I didn't, and I didn't even realize the dangers that lie in drugs. And I really like what you said, Crandall, about being yourself. The longer I stay sober, and I think I've said this in here a couple times, I can be kind of quirky. I think I've said that a few times. And when I'm feeling really good and secure within myself, and my self-esteem is high, my self-worth is high, I become very complimentary to people. A lot of the ladies in here know me as, when I speak to them, it'll be like, "Hey, beautiful." Little lovely words like that. Or, to the guys, I might kind of, "Hey, good looking, what you got?" But that doesn't mean I want you to be my man, right, or I want to get laid by you. It doesn't mean that. And, again, I'm going to continue being myself, and to me, it makes me feel good to compliment someone else. Whether male, female, it doesn't matter. Maybe the way I do it might be misunderstood, but trust and believe, please, I am only here for you. Not nobody else.
Amen.
I want to love everybody. I might not like you, but I want to love you. Now, come on, guys, come on. You know. I want to be that person that can say, have that godly love, and maybe I shouldn't say not like him, maybe not like some of the behaviors, but, and like you said, Randy, you can't be responsible for how others might take what you say. As long as you know within your heart, and I know within my heart, that there's no harm or malice. You know, and that's something that I live by, so that when I lay my head down on that pillow, I can rest. You know, because I'm not trying to be that same person that used crack cocaine. You know, I'm trying to kill her. I used to hear in Detroit, they would say, she or he is locked up in the basement, chained up. And one day they would work up the courage to slit its throat. Meaning that old person, the using person. You know, now it's my turn. It's my turn. See what I can see. That's that song by Diana Ross. I hope you understand. This time is just for me because it's my turn. Anyway, I'm glad to be here, and I'm so glad to know everybody that's here, the different personalities, and you know, it just feels really good. And to try and practice some acceptance of others, because we're the same, but we're not the same.
Right.
And it's good to embrace the differences, because for me, I can learn from that, you know, and I need to always be trying to learn, no matter how old I get. Because the older I get, the more I learn that I don't know, if that makes any sense. It makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
But anyway, I'm just a work in progress, and I'm moving forward, and man, we are just some beautiful people. With that, I'll pass.
That was one of the best things I've ever heard you say.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm glad. You sound better today than you have, too. You can hear it in your voice.
Getting better.
Emma.
I was gonna say how, what was I gonna say? Sorry. How I figure out like what I'm around and be more honest to everybody around me, and because again, I wouldn't want to talk about my past at all, what I've done, but that's really crucial to just like put it all out there and really kind of explain to my family why I really treated them the way that I did, and why I treated these people the way that I did, and why I did what I did. And I don't have all the answers, but like it's surprising. Like, you know, I wouldn't go home because I just knew it would be one thing after another. I was gonna get into an argument with my mom, and I knew it. And like now, the only thing, like I've said this, you know, a lot the past like couple weeks, but like the only thing we get in an argument about now is like I didn't do the dishes, or like I didn't feed the cats on time, or like I forgot to lock the door behind me. Like little small things, and it's like, yeah, yell at me about that all day long. Like, don't yell at me about bigger shit, or like court fines, or the fact that I like crashed, you know, someone's car. It just, they seem so tiny now. They're like normal little arguments between like me and my mom, regular mother-daughter stuff. And yeah, first world problems, you know, just like it just feels better, you know. So, yeah.
If that's the worst part of your day, is not feeding a cat or doing the dishes.
Time again.
It seems like a pretty good day.
Yeah, and like compared to what it used to be, it just feels so much better.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Tim.
Yeah, I actually have an announcement. I can't wait for tomorrow, because every day I get better looking.
Always.
What's his name, brother? Keep my day job.
He's a comedian now. Anybody didn't know? All right. Well,
Can I do a quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Just
You got
really
5
quick,
minutes. Go ahead.
in response to Elena, we're kind of sisterhood in Race for Recovery. We came in same day, a couple hours apart. But one thing that I use that's worked for me, and I have to remind myself of it, like with almost every interaction I have with people, and that is what I'm going to say to this person, or in response, or question, or whatever. Ultimately, is it even necessary? But sometimes it's, but I try to think, is this kind and fair? And that keeps me in check, because I would, you know, when I pass along to the next place, wherever I'm going, I want my headstone to say, she was kind and she was fair. That is as simplistic as my life needs to be for all of the great things to have a good foundation to launch from, kindness and fairness. So I always try to remind myself of that, like and sometimes I screw it up and I try to, you know, I say, oh, I gotta pull that back in, you know, will you give me a redo? Because I don't ever want to offend people, ever, never, ever. But sometimes, you know, we all get carried away. And being totally sober and clear-minded, and I feel like I get smarter every day. So it's fun to joke around as a sober person. I'm way funnier now than when I was drinking, even though I felt like I needed to drink to be social. I did not. But that has helped me. Like, is this kind? Is this fair?
I think one of my favorite things about being sober is the authentic laughter. You know, I've laughed harder in sobriety where it was actually funny, you know what I mean? Like, not intoxicated laughter, but like that intense where you can't even really breathe type laughing. And Elena, what you said is perfect. That's what we want at Racing for Recovery, is for you to be you. That's what's beautiful about this program. It's tailored for you to do it the way that you want to do it. There's only a few rules. It's like, don't get high. All right, other than that, it's like just figure out how not to get high. Let's stay healthy, exercise, but be you, you know? That's all it is. Everybody's unique. We want to see the quirky and the funny and the goofy, you know, like, that's for me, like, that's all the shit that I was covering up. I would get drunk to fit in and be like somebody else because I saw what you were doing were cool, so I wanted to be with you. It's not like that anymore. Now I get up here and I ramble and I talk shit and we laugh up here. I mean, it's just fun, man. Sobriety is fun. So be you. Who's got the...
I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm hopeless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I've been in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It takes a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Yeah.
I'll be balling. Go ahead and bring it back out front for me, please. Perfect.